Two remaining abducted Yori schoolgirls released after 707 days in captivity. President Buhari confers honors on Tinubu Shettima as DSS uncovers fresh plot to scuttle inauguration. Joint health sector unions to begin indefinite strike Thursday midnight. And on the foreign scene, fresh fighting threatens Sudan's week-long truce. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Abdurrahman Umar. Thanks for joining. And now the news in full. The remaining two girls of the federal government college Birnin Yauri in Kebbi State have been abducted by bandits 2 years ago have been released. Chairman of Parents of the Abducted Girls Forum, Salim Kauje, said Safia Idris and Farida Kauje were released to them by the bandits on Thursday. 11 of the schoolgirls have been in captivity for 2 years. This year, after a payment of 100 million ransom demanded by the bandits, the girls were released in batches to their parents. Kauje said they are still in the bush trying to make their way out of the state capital, Birnin Kebbi, where they will be handed over to the state government. Daily Trust reporter in the state, Ismail Adibayo, gives an update.
This morning, the chairman of the parents forum abducted the school children in Yauri told journalists that 2 of the remaining 11 girls have been released, though he said they are still somewhere in the bush. And from there, anytime they get out of the bush, they will come into the state capital in Birnin Kebbi. That is the detail so far. It is still in respect of the ransom that was paid earlier, the 100 million ransom that was demanded by the bandits. Since then, there have been negotiations, and these girls were released in batches. Previously, they released 4. Much later, they released additional 3. Then they released before this one, just sometimes around May, I think either May 8 or so, they released additional 3 before these 2. So these 2 are the remaining girls with the bandits. By the assurance of the chairman of the parents, he said the girls are in good condition, but they are bringing them to the state capital. But at the time he spoke with the journalists, they were still in the bush.
President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu has vowed not to disappoint Nigerians when he takes over the nation's mantle of leadership. The president-elect also says he recognizes the trust and magnitude of expectation and responsibility bestowed on him as the next president, hence his desire to deliver on promises he made to Nigerians. He made the declaration in his acceptance speech after President Muhammadu Buhari conferred on him the national honor of Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, GCFR, at the State House. The president-elect also acknowledged that Nigerians deserve a better country, noting that his administration will continue to reach out to President Buhari whenever the need arises. The Department of State Services, DSS, says it has uncovered another plot by those it described as subversive elements to disrupt the inauguration of the president-elect, Bola Tinubu, and his vice, Kashim Shettima, slated for Monday, May 29. The DSS said that the elements are employing fake news, false alarms, skewed reportage or narratives, and sensationalism to ignite division, tension, and subsequently cause violence prior to and after the exercise. Peter Apunanya, the spokesman of the secret police, who stated in Abuja Thursday morning, advised citizens, the media and civil society organizations to adhere strictly to security and civil protocols during the events. Apunanya called on Nigerians to remain calm before, during, and after the inauguration, adding that the secret police will continue to collaborate with the Nigerian police, the military, and other sister security agencies in order to tame all the threats. The Governorship National and State House of Assembly Election Petition Tribunal for Adamawa State has taken all the petitions against the elections that were held in the state during the 2023 general elections in the state to Abuja. The Tribunal Secretary L.C. Apabio, who disclosed this in a press statement on Thursday, added that all matters have therefore been adjourned till further notice. According to Apabio, the relocation follows the directives of the President, Court of Appeal, Justice M.B. Dongban Mensem. Meanwhile, the notice is silent on the reasons for the relocation of the tribunal from Yola to Abuja. Recall that the Independent National Electoral Commissioner INEC had declared Governor Ahmadu Fintri of the People's Democratic Party PDP winner of the state governorship election in March. Fintri won the supplementary election with 9,337 votes after defeating his closest rival, Aisha Dahiru, popularly called Binani, of the All Progressives Congress APC, who came second in the poll with 6,513 votes. The Kano State Ministry of Justice has exonerated House Leader Alhassan Ado Doguwa, who was accused of culpable homicide and mischief by fire. The Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Musa Lawan made this known while briefing journalists in Kano on Thursday. Lawan said facts and observations available to the ministry cannot substantiate charges of criminal conspiracy, mischief by fire, and culpable homicide against Doguwa. He said the statements of those that implicated Doguwa were full of contradictions and could not find medical evidence to prove the death of the victims. According to him, the 8 to 12 suspects will be charged to court with mischief by fire under Section 336 of the Penal Code as amended. Dozens of small and medium business operators in Kano are stranded after electricity distribution company cut off supply to the Dakata industrial area. The businesses are now being closed down, leading to loss of dozens of jobs by youths in the state. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin visits the area and files in this report.
Fear, anger, and disappointment. These small and medium-scale entrepreneurs are gathered in their clusters to protest against the Kano Electricity Distribution Company for making their life difficult. For almost 2 weeks now, productions here have been halted after the distribution company disconnects their electricity, even though they regularly pay their bills of 80 naira per unit consumed.
We are paying our bill, and we are paying effectively. They are not accusing of stealing of not paying the bill, but they are accusing of stealing. We don't know how to trace their leakage. These people, we try our best for them to bring the light. They're supposed to bring the light, and this is affecting us seriously.
Over the years, from recycling to rubber production, ice production, and oil milling, SMEs remains among a major employer of labor in Kano, but the lack of electricity supply is threatening their continued existence.
The problem is not our future only, but the future of the state. What KEDCO are doing now is a threat to the security of the nation, because without this light, people will, the children, our workers will remain redundant. They have nothing to do.
All attempts to speak with the Kano Electricity Distribution Company was not successful. But these people are hopeful that all relevant stakeholders will come to their aid.
We cannot use the generator because the problem is this. Even the power we are using, the unit is very expensive. We started this business since we are buying the unit at the rate of 17 naira, but now getting to 18 naira. With their the losses we are having, some are used to pay the bill almost 90 naira. So we cannot use diesel because our machines, at least they are just like just a heavy machines.
Even the small scale that we're having more than 200,000 small scale, because each and every single machine here can give up to 15 to 20 people working on it. This we are talking about direct labor, not indirect labor. And they know that we have been in business in this place for more than 20 years.
For now, unless electricity supply is restored, the future of these thriving small and medium-scale enterprises in Kano may continue to remain bleak. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
The Joint Health Sector Union's Johesu says it will embark on an indefinite strike starting Monday midnight of Thursday, May 25th, following the failure of government to meet its demands. This comes just one day after Johesu organized a rally to the National Assembly to present their case before the legislators. In a letter dated May 9, 2023, the leadership of Johesu issued a 15-day ultimatum to the federal government over alleged inconsistencies in the ongoing negotiations to adjust the consolidated health salary structure for health workers on their platforms. The organization, which serves as an umbrella body of health workers' unions and associations, noted that the government's body language shows that it does not intend to honor their agreed terms and rules of engagement relating to non-discrimination in the determination of wages and benefit packages of health workers in Nigeria. While highlighting their demands, the unions called on the federal government to consolidate on health salary structure as agreed in terms of the settlement of September 2017, which had lingered since 2014. They also urged the government to pay peculiar allowance to health workers under the aegis of Johesu AHP, as well as the immediate and unconditional implementation of the consultant cadre circular of pharmacists in all federal health institutions, among others. The Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, has assured that the aircraft that will kickstart Nigeria air operations will arrive in the country on Friday. He gave the assurance in an interview after the valedictory session of the Federal Executive Council (FEC) at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, on Wednesday. He said the arrival of the airplane will be preparatory to the commencement of operations and unveiling of the delivery process, according to him. The aircraft will be unveiled in Nigeria's colors in fulfillment of all the promises made by the administration in the aviation sector. Sirika stated that most of the objectives set by the outgoing administration in the aviation sector have been met, noting that the only incomplete item is the Aerotropolis, which he said is 60% complete. He said the groundwork of the Aerotropolis has been completed, while the next administration is expected to do what is remaining to be done. You are watching Trust News Update. Coming up shortly after that. Kaduna property owners vow legal action against state government. This and more after the break. Don't go away.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130.
A Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back, and if you are just joining us, this is Trust News Update. Now we take a look at the recap of our top stories. 2 remaining abducted Yori schoolgirls released after 707 days in captivity. And President Buhari confers honors on Tinubu Shettima as DSS uncovers fresh plot to scuttle inauguration. Now moving on to more stories. The federal government, through the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, in collaboration with its partners on Wednesday, opened the first national consultation on the cybercrime legal framework, bringing together justices, representatives of NIDA, EFCC, ICPC, the police, among other frontliners in the prosecution of cybercrime. The consultation is an open debate on the existing legal framework on cybercrime in Nigeria. The report.
With phishing and scams hitting 174% in Nigeria, the fight against cybercrime is no longer a matter of enacting laws alone, but also making sure violators are made to face justice.
My name is Jamila Kagadi.
The first national consultation on the cybercrime legal framework seeks to provide a platform for inclusive dialogue to harness the collective expertise of all key players in the sector.
The challenges posed by cybercrime are ever-evolving, and we must remain proactive in our approach to combating them. Our legislations must adapt to rapidly changing threat landscape, addressing emerging trends and technologies. Therefore, this consultation is not merely a formality, but a critical step towards strengthening our legal arsenal against cybercriminals.
Bearing in mind the global dimension of cybercrime, the national consultation provides an opportunity for Nigeria's international partners to share experiences on global best practices in the fight against cybercrime.
First and foremost, back in 2015, Nigeria passed, the Cybercrimes Act, which was actually a milestone for Nigeria and indeed much of the continent. That said, like any other thing, it needs to be updated, it needs to be reviewed. And if I may just encapsulate it, cyber law enforcement, the good guys, they operate at the speed of law. So it means that we have to continually try to not necessarily just catch up, but also think ahead.
Technology is developing extremely well. What this consultation is doing is a normal pace of work of legislation, gathering to discuss urgent issues. And in view of what technology will develop in the future, or electronic evidence, we know that with time, with the global communication network, you will have victims, you will have evidence, and you will have offenders in different places. So these kind of consultation might address these kind of issues.
And to keep track of this crime, to be able to fight it effectively, any country, including Nigeria, will have to update its laws to be in check with the trends, to be in check with international law. So I think it's a very timely initiative of the Ministry of Justice to see what can be done to keep Nigeria in check with these standards, to improve where it can, to make sure that human rights and other safeguards are well placed, but also that the toolbox of law enforcement is indeed full.
Several studies have estimated a yearly 15% increase in global cybercrime losses over the next 5 years. But with multiplicity of laws across regional and global boundaries, it is forums such as this that ensures Nigeria is not dealing with the threats of cybercrime in isolation. Ayuba Ilya, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In the meantime, owners of demolished properties in Kaduna have vowed to take legal action over what they called an infringement on their right by the Kaduna state government. This follows the ongoing demolition of structures at different locations in the state as part of the state urban renewal program by the Kaduna Urban Planning and Development Agency. Trust TV's Bello Musa has more detail on this.
The Kaduna state government had earlier released a statement indicating the list of structures it will demolish. According to the statement, government will demolish more than 900 structures across the state. The demolition has started with houses at different locations in Kaduna State. Some of the people affected by the demolition narrate their ordeal.
It was around 3 a.m. in the night, because by then I was awake. I saw a bulldozer just near my window. When I saw it, I peeped through my window. I discovered there are so many people outside. So I intended to come and ask them what is happening. So as I'm reaching the door, somebody is knocking the door. So I opened the door and say, he's the one. I say, yes, of course, he's the one. He said, we have come to demolish the house. I told them, you can go ahead. They said, don't you have anything to take out? I say, if time permits. They say, you can go inside and take whatever you want to take, but we have given you a few minutes.
When I came out and I see my parents were screaming, some of the women and children were screaming, crying, calling for help, while the other policemen are saying, no, you have to pack your belongings and leave because we are demolishing all the house.
According to them, despite obtaining certificate of occupancy and other landed documents, government still went ahead to demolish their properties, an action which they describe as infringement to their rights.
I was not served with any notice. I just saw them in front of my house. A lot of property I lost, a lot of properties. But time will tell. I want to put it in written. By God's grace, I will do. I will tell the guy action. By God's grace.
Similarly, the leadership of the Islamic movement in Nigeria at a press briefing said the Kaduna State government demolished residences of their members as well as a school they built.
They went to our school. There's a school, we call it Fudia Madani. It's still in Regasa. This is a school that actually houses a nursery, primary, and secondary school. Right? So they also descended on that school and demolished everything.
According to them, government has marked 48 structures belonging to them for demolition.
We are calling on people of conscience, especially in the country and in Nigeria, in Kaduna State, to actually prevail on the government to stop what they have started, because they said 48 structures. Now, 8 of our structures are down. So we don't know the 42 others across the state.
The Kaduna State government, in a statement signed by the Director General of the Kaduna State Urban Planning and Development Agency, Kasubda Samaila Dukas, said the demolition of more than 900 structures in the state will cost the state over 29 million naira. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And on business news, the Nigerian naira is appreciated against the US dollar at the investors and exporters window to close at 463.33/1 US dollar on Wednesday, representing a 0.23% rise from the closing rate of 464.42 to $1 recorded in the previous trading session. An opening indicative rate of 464.29/1 US dollar. It was recorded at the EFX on Wednesday from 463.1/1 US dollar that has recorded on Wednesday. The intra-trading at the IEFX exchange market retracted back to 471/1 US dollar on Wednesday, compared to the highest rate of 632 since the beginning of the year that was recorded in the last trading session. The lowest rate at the IEFX exchange market closed at the same rate of 460/1 US dollar that has been recorded in the last 2 trading weeks, with a forward rate of 472/1 US dollar. Forex turnover, however, decreased by 69.43% to 77 million US dollar at the official market on Wednesday from the 251.91 million that exchanged hands in the previous session. Meanwhile, the nation's external reserves stood at $35.189 billion as of Monday, from $35.198 billion recorded as of Friday last week. And on foreign scene, the sporadic clashes between Sudan's army and a powerful paramilitary force spilled over into Thursday, puncturing the relative calm in the capital Khartoum and raising the risks that a week-long truce will crumble. The ceasefire, monitored by Saudi Arabia and the United States, was reached after 5 weeks of warfare in Khartoum and outbursts of violence in other parts of Sudan, including the western region of Darfur. The fighting, which is centered on a power struggle between Sudan's army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, has worsened a humanitarian crisis, forced more than 1.3 million people to flee and threatened to destabilize a fragile region. The army, led by a career officer, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, relies on air power, while the RSF, commanded by former militia leader General Mohammed Hamdan Daglo, widely known as Hemeti, has spread out and taken over in Khartoum streets. It is unclear whether either side has gained an edge in recent weeks. And now we take a look at sports news. The Sunshine Stars, Warri Wolves and Bendel Insurance have proceeded to the quarter-final of the year's Federation Cup after they dislodged their opponents in the round of 16 matches on Wednesday. The Owena Wells defeated giant killers EFCC 3-2 at the Samuel Obumodia Stadium, Benin City, with strikes of Samson Olasofu Jide-Jimo and Emmanuel Obuagu, while the NNL side netted twice. Elsewhere, Warri Wolves scored a stoppage-time goal to qualify for the quarter-final against Gombe United. In a game played in Abuja, Bendel Insurance, on their part, pipped Heartland FC 1-0. In Auka, Ismail Saraki's 47th-minute goal was enough for the win. In other games played, Plateau United defeated Ingas FC 2-1, while Edel FC bowed out of the competition 2-1 to Doma United. With that, we have come to the end of Thrust TV's news update. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and our YouTube live stream. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for watching and bye for now.